What's good? Got your boy Elgin here on the right-hand side. Got your boy Christian Marshall on the left. We back at it with the Workman Podcast. How you feeling, my brother?
Man, I'm feeling amazing, feeling wonderful, feeling
It's a
blessed.
beautiful-ass night, man. We about to get to it.
Shoot, they still got daylight coming through my window. So.
Oh, yeah. It's nighttime over here, boy. It is. It's almost 10 o'clock. You good. It's like, what time it is over there?
7 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Y'all still got like another hour and a half of daylight.
Yeah, about another hour and a half. The sun just setting, so
But
everything
bro,
good, though.
What's been going on, bro? How you been feeling, son?
I've been feeling good, bro. You know, lots of different opportunities. You know, God just really aligning me with my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you go through a whole bunch of stuff, like, it's not until you go through a whole bunch of things and learn a lot of different things, and it's going to be at the point where you're thinking, like, when is this going to end for real? Because you really realize what type of position that you're in, especially for those people that haven't gotten to where they want to be at yet. You know, because I know I'm working a good job, everything else like that, but I just know my purpose for me, my calling is a whole lot more than what I'm just doing at my job every day.
Exactly.
So just speaking on that, you know, I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just saying that God has aligned me with my purpose. For real.
Yep, I already know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that's beautiful.
He's aligned me, dog.
Ain't it amazing? Like when you go through a whole bunch of trials and then you can just see the puzzle pieces just forming in front of your face. And it's like they all coming together at the same time. And it's like, wow, it's just building a beautiful masterpiece right before your eyes. You feel me?
And it always come when you least expect it too. Like you don't
Exactly.
really realize what's going on until it's like you're in the moment now. Like, exactly. And once you really sit there and just trust the process, that's when it started like stacking up. That's when things started lining up even more. Is when it's like, I'm gonna just stay down. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing every day. You know what I'm saying? And everything gonna work out. And now I'm seeing like you said, I'm seeing all the puzzle pieces come together. Like from all I'm talking about experiences from like 6 years ago. I'm seeing why I went through those experiences for real. I went through, that's a part of the story that you have to tell. Everybody has their own story. So you can't expect to, be in this great space or be someone who is going to affect a lot of people. Like that, that's my goal. I want to affect and impact so many people, but it's like when you want to impact that many people, you have to go through some things and have a story to tell those people. Right. For real. So that's what's going on right now.
And so everybody got a story. It's just, you going through that journey and understanding that, it's not the end of the world whenever things go wrong. It's just another lesson that you can distribute to the world and give to the people. That way they don't have to go through the same, trials that you had to go through, It's everybody just sharing information. If everybody just shared the information that they learned through this life, we would have such an abundance of knowledge that it wouldn't be no such thing as failure because we can learn from someone else's experience,
Exactly.
It's like we just got to keep doing that, keep sharing those stories, keep giving those insights. That way everybody can benefit from it. What's the point of going through it on your own? Why not?
There's no point.
Why not turn it into a lesson for somebody else, But yeah, bro, that's good stuff. So last week we kind of talked about competition versus collaboration, right? Mm-hmm. So we basically talked about when is the right time to collaborate. What's the difference between, bandwagoning and having a team, that you actually built something with, as opposed to, seeing a team that's winning and trying to hop on to, the winningness of that team. So we kind of going to push past that topic and add another layer to it, which is, understanding your weaknesses and your limitations and your blind spots. So whenever you're building a team, you want to build something that you get pieces that complement you. You don't want everybody to have the same strengths because you're pretty much just mirrors to each other. You're not really adding any value. But if you add pieces to your team where this person fills this gap, that person fills that gap, and y'all together create one unstoppable entity, that's really what the goal of a team should be all the time. Like we can't have a baseball team with all pitchers. That's not going to work. You're not going to be able to hit the ball. You can't have a basketball team with 5 point guards. Y'all going to get murdered.
Right. Offense, no defense.
Ain't no rebounds, bro.
No defense, no defensive rebounds happening. For real,
Exactly.
for real.
So,
But knowing your limitations also lines up with what we talked about previously in a couple episodes ago about the 7 pillars, right? The only way you can know your limitations is if you're aware and you identify what those strengths and weaknesses are. So when you identify those things, like we're going back to it, that's so the identification part is kind of what we're diving into, being able to, identify like what exactly you're good at. Not only know what you're good at, but what you're weak at. And not saying that weakness is a bad thing, because everybody has them. But it's like, okay, when you identify that weakness, okay, now what can I do to compensate for it? And like we was just saying, can't nobody get anywhere by themselves. You can't go through things by yourself. So honestly, you got to get you a team together, a team of people that you trust, right, and that you can really depend on to really pick up where you can where you're lacking at in certain areas. Not
Bro,
saying that
have
those
you ever
weaknesses.
heard the saying, if you want to get somewhere fast, go by yourself, but if you want to go somewhere far, go with a team?
Right.
You ever heard that? But yeah,
Yeah.
I find that so true because it's easy to get things done quicker when you're on your own, but it might not be the most efficient way. It might not actually be done at the peak of its, greatness, because you're only one person. And really, when you're looking at one thing on your own, you kind of got blinders on. You don't have that exposure of different, insights, different people's creative minds and different people's strengths and feedback. You kind of just one-sided on everything. So you'll get it done faster because you don't have any QC or quality control to it. But if you have a team around you and they actually auditing what's going on, bro, yeah, that stuff gonna be amazing.
Right. That boy threw some engineering terms out there. That boy said QC, quality control. You gotta have quality control, bro. Hold on.
Facts.
You gotta have that though. And this what's crazy is working in quality. Like it's like working in the engineering field. Quality is needed everywhere because you have to have somebody checking you. You have to have somebody checking you. Like you have to have somebody checking your work. Just like what I like back in college when we had that study group, right? I would get one answer. You might get another answer. Somebody and two other people might get two different answers. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, okay, let's all 4 of us or all 6 of us, 7 of us come together and see what the most logical answer for this problem is, because that's 4 different people looking at the same problem but 4 different ways. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So so one person's looking at that problem differently than you are, and what you're looking at, you may have missed something because you have a certain strength in a certain area, because everybody's thought process is not the same. Mm-hmm. So looking at, and that just goes into not just homework or like school problems, but that goes into your life as well. You got to realize that your path and what you do, right? This goes into like just knowing yourself, right? And walking the path that you walk in. Just because you walk in that path that you think, you may be walking the path that you think is right. And you may be walking it in a way that you think is right. Exactly. But until you have somebody else, or somebody that can hold you accountable, or somebody that can really sit there and look at you on a day-to-day or on a consistent basis and say, hey, like you did it this way, but I think you can do it better this way because you missed out on X, Y, and Z. You forgot about X, Y, and Z. Like you forgot to pick up the nut. You forgot to pick up, a couple of dollars here on the way because you was walking this way. You wasn't walking the other way. You see what I'm saying?
And it's crazy that you say that, like having those people, check it and get their insights from their expertise, because that makes me think about at work. Whenever we have like a project that we want to propose at work, you basically build a scope document where you break down from A to B what you plan on doing with the project. And then you'll get, I guess, people from all different departments in the plant to sit down in the meeting and then evaluate your scope document and get all of their insights. And then through that process, you get to see like the little things that you missed, the blind spots that you had in your scope document, because it's not necessarily that you're wrong. It's just, that's not your field. That's not your, that's not what you went to school for. They went to school for chemical engineering. I went to school for mechanical engineering. So of course, I'm not going to know every single aspect, that they might know about the chemical side of it. So they might be able to give me some feedback, some input to make the job and the scope execute a lot better. So it's just having those people around you, knowing what departments you need in your life. That way it can translate to your life now. because people usually things in business are made to be more efficient. It's a bunch of trial and error involved. So they had to have a mistake in the past for them to want to implement that type of system into their business. So if you can take those systems from people's businesses and implement those into your life, imagine how efficient your life would be.
Exactly. And for people that don't know, that's really what the Six Sigma process is.
Right.
You know, just to give you some technical background, we'll get a little technical, you know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it's just basically taking the problem and breaking it down, right? Taking the problem and breaking it down to its rawest form and getting to the root cause of what caused this problem. Now, once we figure out what the root cause of this problem is, let's get all the stakeholders, right? Everybody that's involved with this process, let's get them together in one room and let's figure out the different aspects and the different avenues that that contribute to this problem, right? And how can we fix this process and improve the process as it is right now, right? And what does that look like? So that's exactly what you're talking about. So when you're talking about that Six Sigma, that process improvement, that's all it is, the process improvement. You have to take that thought, you know, especially, you know, for any engineers, anybody that's technical that's watching this, right? You have to be able to think about life that way too. So outside of just the engineering, you got to think about your life as a business, right? You got to think about you have to take that methodology and apply it to your own business, right? Because you're going to have to also improve the process of your business, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be, let's face it, you're not going to get anybody that's successful and has a good business is not, they didn't succeed on the first try. Right. They didn't. They tried a couple things first, and then all they did was they learned from the failures and the mistakes, and they improved the process as they went along until finally now they got an efficient business model to operate off of, to where it's consistent, it's sustainable, and it's consistently providing a good output, which is whatever product or service that they provide. You see what I'm saying? So you have to think about it like that.
Let's talk about how people can, I guess, add that into their life. You know, they might, you know, work a 9-to-5 somewhere, you know, in the industry, and they have that system in place with the quality control. I know your you know, place of work has a quality control department. Mine does too. So it's just, how do they, I guess, go from, you know, having it in their life at work and then putting it into their actual, you know, life at home? Like, what does that look like, you think?
For me, I think it starts off with your intention for the day, right? Because I think a lot of us in this life, we just look at the 9-to-5 at, you know, we get up and we get up and we don't have any intention for the work that we're about to do that day between 9 to 5, right? So if you're not going in with any intention, like with that job, you're just going through the motions, you're not going to gain anything from the work that you're doing. But little do you know, no matter what your job is, you can work at Ross, you can work at McDonald's, you can work in corporate, you can work for a Fortune 500 company, you can work for yourself. But at the end of the day, you have to know that the work that you're putting in, whatever it is, and you getting that check, there's something to learn from that process, whether it's something good or it's something that's messed up with how it's being run that you can improve, right? Because I see that. I mean, that's in corporate all day. You know what I'm saying? You have people just in certain positions that don't really need to be there, but they there. And so, but as a especially as a new person, right, or an entry level person coming in, you see these things. And so now you have to put yourself in the position to think, okay, if I was in this position, this is how I would want to run it, right? This is how I would do it. This is what I would do differently. And so now, once you have that in your mind and you see where things are lacking at, now you can apply that to your daily work ethic. Okay, I'm gonna treat this like I'm the manager within my job role. You see what I'm saying? And so eventually, once you do that, tackle that, when you have that intention every day, right, it's gonna lead into your daily life, because now you're looking at things differently.
Right.
You feel me?
I like that. I also think, in addition to that, that's a really good one. But also implementing kind of like a checks and balances system in your life. Like what me and you do on a weekly basis, we meet up and we do our accountability call, which we're gonna let you guys get in on some of those every once in a while. We're gonna have some live accountability calls with me and Christian. We're gonna talk about our goals and how we did that week. So yeah, just having somebody that you trust, somebody that loves you. You my brother, so like I don't put I don't put nothing as far as like you having any kind of spite or envy towards me. Like I would never think that because we done been through so much. But a lot of people don't have those type of people in their life, or they might not communicate with them as often as they should. You feel me? So we need to bring those people that show us love and care, and implement those systems that way we can add value to each other's lives. Because I know it's helped me a lot being able to talk to you more often and us, shoot ideas off each other and just hold each other accountable on the goals that we already said we wanted to accomplish. So
Right.
just having that person that you love and trust in your corner, bro, that's priceless.
Right. And even if you don't have that person, like you don't have that person, or you feel like you don't have that person, that means maybe you need to get outside the box a little bit
Right.
and venture out and look for those people, because whether you realize it or not, they have those people out there that are just like you, seeking the same things. It's just that you haven't found those people yet. But that's where being aware comes into play.
Yep.
Like you have to be aware of those things. Like when you talk to people, really build relationships. Don't just talk to people to get to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know, that person might know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody else that can put you in a position to elevate you. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Like literally, like for example, Ricardo with the science of sport, started the science of sport. I started doing work with the science of sport organization as early as my freshman year of college, right? So work with them for the summer, and then come time to senior year, I graduate, I get my job at Raytheon, and then all of a sudden, I tell Ricardo, yeah, I'm about to go work at Raytheon. He's like, oh, my best friend, who is my child's godfather, works at your site. So let me put you in contact with him. Exactly.
That's crazy.
And I talked to him, and then he put me in contact with somebody else. And then that person put me in contact with somebody else. And that person put me in contact with somebody else. And that's just how it goes.
This is
But see, if I
exponential
wouldn't have
connection.
established that relationship,
That would never
then
opened up.
it would have never happened.
Exactly.
But that's also about being intentional and being genuine with the interaction that you have with people,
Right.
regardless of what their response is to your intentions and your ingenuity. Like that, you have to look at it this way. You can't take things personal if somebody doesn't like what you say. You just have to know how to categorize those people. Okay, that's just somebody I can't talk to about this thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I bring this idea to you, that means I can't really. If I brought you an idea that I thought was really good, and you just completely bash it without giving me good critique, like
Right.
try to make it better, then obviously I can't talk to you about that topic because you're not thinking
have
honestly.
you
have no real good
capacity to
feedback.
even think about that. Some
Exactly.
people don't even have the capacity to think of it, and that's something that we got to be comfortable with. Everybody's not on the exact same stage in their life, to be giving people that type of energy, which is not a problem. I mean, everybody takes, their own journey, their own pathway to their success. Everyone has their own people that they, walk on the path with. And it's not any spite to anybody. We want everybody to succeed. But for my, personal benefit, it would not benefit me or you for us to, be in that relationship any longer if we can't add any value to each other's life. And that's not even on any, spiteful stuff at all. It's just pure love, bro. So yeah, it's just getting yourself out there, getting more exposure, I think is very key. I know it's something that I did in the past year, even through coronavirus. I feel like I got way more exposure after that, which is crazy because I would get on a lot of more, I guess, webinars and Zoom meetings and stuff like that because you really didn't have anything else to do. So I was like, how can I grow? And it was just, getting on the virtual world and talking to more people, building those connections online. And I actually met some cool people, like on meetup.com, little webinars and just personal development conferences. I know I was on Eric Thomas's personal development conference, and that was really good too. Met some people on there, got me introduced to a few podcasts that I still listen to this day and helping my personal development. So it's just, expanding yourself past your, I guess, immediate environment and seeking and see what else is out there, so.
Right. And just know that, and also just know and keep in mind that um, even though you're seeking these things and you do go out and get that exposure, don't expect it to be perfect, the journey to be perfect along the way, because you might go into an environment and think something is one thing and it ends up falling by the wayside. But that's because maybe that was meant to happen. You need to go through that experience to learn that, because at the end of the day, this is a growing process. Exactly. You're doing nothing but growing, but you have to learn how to take the lessons out of each experience, good and bad.
Nothing lasts forever. You might be on an accountability call 1 week, and then the next week it's like, all right, I've outgrown this. Like, I'm past this stage now. Now I'm on to holding myself accountable. I don't need training wheels no more. I'm gonna wake up when I said I'm gonna wake up. It's kind of just taking those steps. You shouldn't want to stay the same. You shouldn't want to be in the same stage forever, because that's the opposite of growth. But you want to try new things constantly and keep getting into different, things, just meet new people, because you can take little nuggets from somebody who's not even doing as much as you, but you can learn something from a homeless person. You can learn something from a person who's unemployed. You can learn something from anybody, a blind person, a deaf person. It doesn't matter what's going on in that person's life. They have a lesson that they can teach you. And as long as you can see the good and bad of each person, you can decipher which information you should implement into your life and which ones you should discard of. So, yeah.
And one thing, speaking to that, saying you can learn from anybody, I always think of this. Me and my girl say this all the time. God only has one mouth.
That's it.
God has one mouth. So the conversations that you have, right? And once you really start to get in tune, like into it, and start elevating mentally, spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Then the physical starts to manifest. Now you're starting to peep the spiritual elevation through the physical. And you're starting to get gems from anything and everything. You start seeing things differently. So don't take for granted the interaction, the conversations that you have just because somebody is in a particular situation or in a particular class or whatever the case may be. Because one thing I think about is homeless people, they didn't start off homeless.
That's true.
Most homeless people didn't start off.
It had to happen somewhere.
It had to happen at some point. That person could have been on top of the world. You wouldn't even know it for real. They just at this point in their life right now because of whatever decision or whatever may have happened. And they just haven't gotten out of that rut. That's just what their phase is right now. But don't think because, they're homeless that they may not have something to provide as far as knowledge. I've gotten a whole lot of spiritual information from somebody that's been homeless for real. Plenty of times.
Oh yeah.
But still be careful. Don't mean go talking around.
Nah. If it happened, it happened. If it happened,
right.
It happened.
And don't force it.
Yeah. Don't go seeking to go. Yeah.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with them, but it's, you feel me?
Just be mindful when you have the conversations, and don't initially have that try to shake them off or rub them off.
Right.
Because you feel like you're in a different position than they are.
And that's all just expanding on that point, for example, like Tiger Woods, he has a swing coach. Serena Williams has her own tennis coach. Tom Brady has, a strength and conditioning trainer. He has a quarterback coach, and they all absorb that information, even though they are arguably the best to ever do it in that sport ever. So like, how can they open their mind up and take in advice? And us as just regular people, we can't open our mind up and, expand our knowledge. So I like to look at it like that. You got the top athletes in the world still having coaches, and us in our own personal life don't have coaches. That's an issue. We should definitely have somebody watching our swing, because we aren't even at our peak yet. We're getting there. We're going to be there, but there's a process to that. And one of those steps in the process is having a mentor, having someone that you trust in your corner and constantly improving.
Exactly, and that comes with and that the coach is always going to hold you accountable. You have to have a mentor. You have to not only a mentor, but that mentor will also hold you accountable with everything that you do. So don't go looking for somebody that's going to, go with any and everything that you're doing and say, hey, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, I don't want no
Right.
yes man.
No
I
yes
can't have
men.
no yes man.
No
Can't
yes
have no
men.
yes man. If anything, like it may hurt you, it may hit your spirit a little bit. It may hurt your pride a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? Like even me and you, we've had encounters where I done told you some stuff like, bro, you
Right.
dead wrong. Like
And
you
I just
dead
had
wrong.
to I had to take it because it was facts. Like
And the same
you
for
can't you
me.
can't argue with that. Yeah. It's always love. That's just how it is. I'm gonna always keep it 100 with you, and I expect you to always keep it 100 with me. And it
Right.
was never from a place of hate. It was always from a place of love. And
Exactly.
you could feel where it's coming from. You always can tell where it's coming from.
Right. And I can tell when our bond, like we can, when you have that person for real, you don't. It gets to the point where you don't even have to say anything to them. You can just do an action and they'll peep it
Be
like,
like, right. It just
like
be a
oh
look. It
dang,
just be a
like
look.
yeah, just be a look like yeah, or it can just be like sometimes even like speaking personally, me and you, there was one time, there was a moment in time where we was drifting apart, bro. We wasn't messing with each other like that.
Right.
Believe it or not,
I
you know what I'm
mean, but it
saying?
was never nothing personal. It was just situations,
The
bro. Like
situations, right?
it was life. It
It
was just
was
life,
life,
bro.
bro.
But it was never like, bro, like fuck him. Like it was never that. It was just I'm just not there right now. I'm not there right now.
Right,
So
right, exactly.
we
And once
both
you realize that,
need time apart to grow, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
you feel me, then that's where the growth comes in. As long as you're aware of what's going on, you have to always be aware.
Oh
As
yeah.
long as you are aware of what's going on, you can always make the change and make the shift to better
Right.
yourself. It's just about the decision at that point. But once you're aware, like then you have then it becomes a choice. Now especially when you are aware of certain things that you do. You
Exactly.
see what I'm saying?
And I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people lack right now because we don't spend a lot of time with ourselves. We spend a lot of time with other people, which we're saying is good to have a coach, it's good to have a mentor. But at the same time, it's also good to reflect on your own and build your mental and cognitive dissidence. That way you can start making your own decisions as well. Taking the pieces that you learning from your mentor and forming them into your own, reality pretty much and building them into your life because your mentor is basically just giving you lessons that they know and they learn, from mistakes or their path. So just implementing that into your pathway is just going to make your life 10 times better, and you can share that knowledge with someone else. So it's just being that that mind piece, bro. That mindfulness is just to me. I think it's the most important part of being successful, bro. And that's just 100% facts.
And you always have to be mindful. Don't ever think because you're mindful 1 second that once you get to a certain point that you no longer have to be mindful of what's going on just because you got to where you said you was going to go. Nah, once you get to that goal, now it's like, oh, I have to be even more mindful because
Exactly.
guess what? With the more success that comes, the more distractions and the more and more obstacles going to come your way. So now you have to increase. You have to continue to grow spiritually and mentally, right?
Hmm.
You have to continue to do that on a consistent basis.
It
You
only
know
it
that.
only gets harder. The mountain doesn't get less steep the further you go up. It gets steeper. The higher you go, the longer you fall. People say that all the time. When you at the point of your peak happiness that's the point where you are the most vulnerable. That's why you see people who get set up with women all the time because that's the point when you're at your weakest, when you're at that point of you know pure seduction, pure infatuation. Your senses aren't aware of all the other things going on in your environment, so it's easy for you to be susceptible to an attack at that point. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
always keeping in the back of your mind, your subconscious always feeling that peripheral at all times. Even in times of success and celebration, it's okay to celebrate, but don't ever think that it's over because everything happens in cycles. Just like
Yep.
any market, the real estate market, it might go up this year, then the next year just go down. Boom, might go down for 5 years, then it might shoot up past the price that it is now. Or a stock might go down because for like pandemic or something like that, and then it might come right back up. Boom! As soon as everything opened back up, the world back open. Now the stock up. Your life can be just like that, you know. So it's just,
and that's even going back to think about the market. Like, think about the last time we had a recession. That was 08.
right.
And then it was up from there. Everybody was, if you made the right moves in 08, you was up.
Exactly.
You were up. You were up. But
But
guess what? Everything happens in cycles. So what happened? Pandemic happened.
Everything happens in cycles. But then if you look at the stock market from 1950 to now, on average, every year you gain about 7%. So if you just wait out the storms, just wait those storms out, you put that money in, it's going to keep growing. Imagine something growing from 1950 to now, and you put money into it every day. Picture yourself as a stock, and you investing in yourself every single day from 1950 to now, and you gain 7% every year. But you put money in every day. That's compound interest. Imagine how much money that would be. That would be over millions of dollars. You feel
and
me?
That's without putting it into any other funds,
Right?
Or any
That's just
other
you.
ETFs or anything. That's just you. Yeah, that's just you putting money in. Like, say, open a Roth IRA. You open a Roth IRA. You put money in there. It's automatically gonna gain 7% compound interest because you're putting the money in there.
But with a Roth IRA, you might be putting that in every 2 weeks, every month. But with yourself, you could do something every day and put that into yourself, and you can gain, that 1% every day. So
think about it. Reading 10 pages a day. Guess what?
Right.
I remember I said I'm going to read 10 pages of Think and Grow Rich every day. By the time I knew it, within a week's time, I was on page 60.
Right.
Page 70. I was on page 70 of the book, and there's only like 200 pages. So little I know I got 100.
Almost a third of the way there.
Almost a third of the way there, and I don't even know
in
it.
A
so
week.
That just
in a week, bro.
Exactly. And so that's the example. And like, if you just commit yourself and continue to be consistent every day, like 1% better, like just get 1% better every day. Just do 1% better. You know what I'm saying? Every day, and focus on that. Not saying you're going to backslide. Not saying, it's going to be perfect every day. But as long as that's the whole reason for setting those goals, right? Like, well, that's why we had those accountability calls with me and you, and we had these goals. Even on our accountability calls, we'd be like, bro, I did not hit all my goals this today. Right. But then when we go through them, we're like, okay, I had 10 goals, but I hit 6, 7 of them.
Right. And in baseball, if you hitting 600,
we going crazy. Exactly.
No, for real. Fame for sure.
Oh yeah, that's unanimous. Ain't no question about that one.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Baseball really got some good analogies to life.
Oh yeah, baseball is a life game, dog.
We always striving to hit 1,000, but if you hit 600 on the way there, you still top of the league.
If you hit 300,
right? Because them 3 out of 10, bro, that could be 3 major things, bro. Right. That could be 3 major things, man.
That could have been 3 hits in the playoffs in the World Series. And you won the championship.
Bro. Exactly. But yeah, I want to get into this last topic. We can wrap it up on this one. We talked about, seeing your blind spots, knowing your weaknesses, building a team around you and an accountability group that can, help fill in those gaps. But now I kind of want to talk about what fuels you, what gets you going, because we saying all this stuff, but if you have nothing that actually fuels you to get you up in the morning, to make you push through those times when it's hard, to make you even reach out to that friend that you haven't talked to a while, and see if they want to be accountability partners, you're never going to do it until you find a reason why. So I kind of want to be transparent and just let you guys know what fueled me to, get through school, get through Tuskegee. That was just my relationship with my family. Back in high school and, my early college days, I disappointed my family. I'm not going to go into major detail on what incurred, but I'm going to just say I was not perfect. I made some major mistakes, and I hurt my family bad. And I actually saw my mother crying, and it just hurt to see, the woman that gave me life, and I made her feel that way, and also I made my dad and my sister upset as well. So it's just me going through school, the days that I didn't want to go, the days I didn't want to wake up, the days I didn't want to study. I would just think about that time I made my mom so disappointed, my family so disappointed in me. And that's what made me want to, get magna cum laude. That's the things that made me want to go hard at baseball practice, the things that made me just keep pushing even when I didn't want to do it. So if you don't have a reason to do it, you just got to find a reason greater than yourself, you feel me? Because that's where all the power is, bro. So make it bigger than you, bro. That's all I got.
Well, personally for me, you know my story too. And I tell people my story all the time. You know what I mean? Personally, what fueled me, and I think it goes all the way back to when I was 13. You feel what I'm saying? I lost my father when I was 13 years old. He committed suicide when I was 13. Mind you, I have a mother and 3 younger sisters. At that time, they were 12, 7, and 1. So now I'm the only man in the house. And now I'm in the position where I'm like, what can I do? What can I do with my situation right now to better myself and put myself in a position where I can make those people proud, where I can really elevate and put myself in a position where I can just be the best person that I can be. And it was from that moment where I realized I became obsessed with the grind. Like, and on top of that, my dad was my coach. We were supposed to go to practice the next day. So when it came to baseball, I was already in love with the game. But when that happened, that was the only, I wasn't worried about school. I wasn't worried about anything going on. If anybody asked me what I wanted to do, I was going to play baseball. Because guess what? I wouldn't even think about, like, I was good at school, but I wasn't worried about it because that's where the desire and the dedication came in at, because that was what was fueling me. You feel what I'm saying? And seeing and having that situation happen to me, I just say God does a lot of things for a lot of different reasons, and I'll never know why that was the case. But I know that if it wasn't for certain things like that happened in my life, then who knows if I would be the person, the man that I am today. You see what I'm saying? And that's what continues to fuel me every day. Not only that, but my grandmother who passed in 2019, she was able to see me graduate right before she passed away that same month. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And all my other family, like my aunts, all of them are I'm talking about, I got people that's alcohol addicts, drug addicts, all that. Like, I'm just being transparent. Like, but it's like, what am I gonna do differently? Who gonna really break the cycle? For real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Who gonna really break the cycle? And so I said, I'm gonna be the one to break the cycle. And I'm breaking it. I'm doing it right now. Exactly. You feel me? But that's what fuels me every single day. But not only that, but holding on to, that moment when my dad passed away, but knowing that at least the love that he had for me and the game, and knowing how much he pushed me before he passed away, like to the point where I would be crying in tears at practice. You feel me? But now looking back, it's like I see why he pushed me so hard, because it was getting me prepared for the next thing. Right. To the point where ain't no crying, no more tears. I'm just getting to it. You feel what I'm saying? So that's personally what fuels me on the day to day, and that's what continues to fuel me on the day to day. You feel me? And I can honestly say, I know from speaking for me and for you, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we've been through this thing together. You see what I'm saying? I'm sure that our parents and our people are hella proud of us because of not only where we at right now, but where we came from, where we started, and the things that transpire up to this point, I should say. You feel what I'm saying? So never forget what fuels you. Never forget what you're really doing this for. Never forget, like, why you get up in the morning. Sometimes I'm mad at myself because I don't get up on time in the morning, because I know why I need to get up in the morning. And that's how you have to approach it. You got to realize you're not perfect, but you got to realize you always, as long as you keep that why in your mind, as long as you keep what fuels in your mind, you're going to always be successful because the energy going to be there. Point blank.
Facts.
You feel what I'm saying?
I love it, bro. That was a lot. That was a lot, bro. That was some truth right there, bro. I hope they caught that one. Cause that was that was really the root to why we here right now. You feel me? The thing that keep us pushing. Cause, bro, believe it or not, man, being a student athlete is not easy.
If anybody said that, life they lied.
As an African American male is not easy. Doing anything, in this life is not easy. That's for anybody, honestly. Waking up in the morning is hard as well, bro. It's not. That's probably one of the most underrated things is getting up.
Oh, very underrated.
Yeah, bro.
Very under. There's a lot of people
every day consistently. Yeah,
consistently. That is tough. That takes real mental fortitude, bro.
It do.
That takes like to the point where it's like if you can get up, like, and I always go back to the days of being a student athlete. Yeah, my girl had to break this down to me. Cause sometimes there was a couple of days, I might have backslid a little bit. I didn't get up on time. She was like, "You gotta remember, you an athlete at the end of the day. You remember all them days you got up in the weight room when you didn't want to be there, and you was dead asleep in the weight room. You literally passed out from going to weights.
Exactly.
All your energy gone.
You gotta tap back into that.
You gotta tap back. You gotta tap back into that.
I be having to trick myself too, bro. Acting like I got like conditioning.
Practice or something.
Yeah.
Cause if you late,
I gotta wake up. Yeah.
If you late, it's a wrap.
Oh yeah, you running way more than what we was about to run. Better wake up.
You better wake up, because guess what? You're gonna
run. You're going to use.
Hey, when I tell you, me and El missed practice for the first time, missed weights by not even 5 minutes.
Bro, that was like 1 minute, son.
We weren't even 5 minutes late.
Oh, 1 minute, bro. We was there.
Everybody just started. Everybody just trickled in.
Yeah. Then he closed the door on us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a story for another day.
That's a whole other story for another day. But guess what? We went through that, and we didn't sit there and whine and moan.
We just ate it. We
just said, all right, bet. I ain't about to be late again. I'm gonna be there before you do that. How about that?
We took it personal after that.
To the point where we've pulled all-nighters and still been the first ones at practice. Like,
yep.
You know what I'm saying? We sit in the car waiting for people to get there. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's what it take though. And that's part of the progress.
And that's stuff you will never forget too.
Here. Oh yeah.
That's stuff you will never forget.
Oh yeah, because you push past your own expectations and your own limits.
Yep.
For real. Now it gives you something to tap back into when you feel like you're not exactly where you need to be at. You like, bro, I done did this before.
But I done did way worse.
I didn't did way worse than this before. So why the hell?
This
is easy. Why can I not just get up? Like, I just gotta get up.
Like what? I just gotta wake up. All right.
I just gotta wake up, bro. Just get up.
That ain't nothing.
Right. So you have to tap into that at all times. That's why you always gotta tap into what fuels you, and always remember your why.
Yep.
Because as soon as you tap into your why, you're gonna go back into all the memories and everything that you done been through. And then that's where the fire gets started. And once the fire gets started, just make sure it don't go out. It may dim down a little bit from here but that's when you gotta throw some more wood and some gasoline on there. And let light it up again. That's what you gotta do. But you gotta do that yourself. You can't expect nobody else to do that for you, because that's your flame.
Yep.
That's your flame for real. You have to cater to your flame. You know what I'm saying? That's your will. That's your will of fire right there. That's what it is. Your will is nothing but the fire that sits inside of you. Exactly. So you have to always be able to tap into it. You see what I'm saying? You
trying to pull from somebody else's fire and take they fire and ignite yours, man. You better find some wood. You better chop some wood up. Yeah, you better.
Right. Little do you know you burning yourself trying to take from somebody else's flame. You just doing nothing but damaging yourself.
You ain't doing nothing. Hurt yourself, man.
Right. Go put some work in, chopping trees down, go load up the fire with the wood and go to work, bro.
Yeah. But yeah. Joseph. But nah, man. Tip of the week. Get you an accountability partner. Find someone you love. Find someone you trust. someone who has good insight, someone who's engaged in your life. You engage in their life too in exchange, and you guys be great together. Great together, man. Let's do it, man. Got me and Christian. We hop on it every week. We gonna start letting y'all tap into it. See our structure on how we do it. We write about 10 goals for the week. Write about 10 goals. We rank them. Make sure we execute on all of them. Then we reconvene at the end of the week and see how good we did. You feel me? We probably need to start doing it to where whoever did the best get like a little incentive. I don't know how we want to do it, but you feel me? I don't know. Make it like a little competition. Yeah.
Okay.
It don't gotta be money, but it could be like, maybe I don't know, something else. It could be, I don't know.
No, we're gonna have to figure it out.
Right? Yeah. Like we could think about it. It could be anything. I don't know.
Shoot, maybe when we do the live, maybe we just let's like once we start really like we are going to start really like
I know
displaying this content.
Whoever accomplishes the least amount of their goals has to send an audience member, buy an audience member lunch. One of our listeners, they have to buy them lunch.
Ooh, with the cash app though. Hit them with the cash.
Hit with the cash app. We gotta buy them lunch.
Damn.
Not over 15 though. Not over 15.
Yeah, nah, we ain't going like that. I don't know what y'all thought this was. Yeah, nah,
we talking about like, something. Go hit the drive-thru real quick. We gonna get you. We gonna bless you with the drive-thru. You feel me?
Better go hit the Canes.
But nah, man, get you an accountability partner, y'all. Y'all show each other love. You feel me? And handle your business. But yeah, other than that, that's all I got, brother. You got any closing remarks?
Man, love is love. Remember to always love one another. No matter if you ain't even receiving that love back, don't ever lose your love for that agape love. You don't know what agape love is, that unconditional love that you show to everybody. You feel what I'm saying? Because as long as you show that unconditional love to those around you, in some shape or form, you're gonna get it back. So never stop loving other people, but also remember never to stop loving yourself. You have to love yourself unconditionally as well. So that way you can spread the love to people. If you don't love yourself first, you can't love nobody else. Exactly. So that's all I got to say.
Yep. Love starts within first. Other than that, that's all I got, man. Keep working. Workman Podcast out, baby.